Hey guys, what's up? It's Law coming back to ya with another episode of Walks with Law. And yeah, I mean today it's probably this week is gonna end up being one of the worst weeks in a while. I'm definitely drained, and because of the traffic I encountered, I basically lost about 50 minutes to an hour of paid time. So it's just a horrible, horrible situation. And I don't really think there's any way to sugarcoat it. So, as I said yesterday, thinking about how I'd make it through Wednesday, it's like, wow. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. um, I don't think I'm gonna be in very chipper spirits. That's my assumption, but I guess we can try to turn that around. I mean, we don't have to, like, I don't know. We shouldn't be like preemptively down in the dumps about it, but that is sort of my assumption, I suppose, is just like, wow, that's really a way to start, to really kick things off. Um, but yeah, so I'll stay late today and tomorrow, and then after that, I should leave early Friday. So really, it's just a matter of making it across the finish line at this point. But I really wish it was Thursday. I don't know why, but I really wish it was Thursday. I wonder if these kind of talks, what even is this? Is it good? Is it bad? And I wonder to people, but I also wonder to aliens, because my recordings, I hope, will be archived or noticed by aliens. That I would be, why can't I think of the word? I would be touched. I would be, what is the word I'm thinking of? I would be, flustered. No, that's not the word I'm thinking of, but I would be flustered if, aliens would really. It's not the word I was thinking of, but it's a word that works. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's an example of me not being able to grab a word. A rare moment. Well, what I hope is a rare moment, because usually my word retrieval skills, I think, punch way above my very low education status. So we'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see how that continues. Maybe they will decrease and decline as time persists. I'm not really sure what. I'm not going to say that. I always have these like phrases I say, and it's like subliminal. It's just like filler junk. I was about to say that, oh, I don't really know what I was going to say. Just like this morning, I said the thing about, oh, what can you do? Oh, what can you do? Like, no, we actually can do. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like a super important thing to change in people, is like, definitely can do stuff. It's just, there's so many people who are like, don't think that. But maybe that's another thing where there's like an underlying truth to it, that maybe we're really dealing with like a lot of human limitation, obviously. Like, we're like a substantial amount at this point. And again, I'm just gonna say it because it's true. It's not really my opinion. The 1900s, they created an environment where a lot of people were able to reproduce who definitely wouldn't if they were alive now. So now you have like an influx of parents who aren't necessarily good parents, and it's not like because whether you're a good parent or not, it's like a subjective thing. Like, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. You have a parent who, like, they're not good enough for this new environment, if that makes any sense. This new environment is much more dangerous. It's much trickier than the previous, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. The new environment. It's treacherous. And like I said, there were too many, like, instances where you had so much open land and you could be sloppy and messy and stupid about how things were designed. And then that in conjunction with such an explosion in population growth, I've talked about this before, it made it so many people were born who really weren't fit to be wise or fit to be parents, and those people still ended up reproducing. So then the consequence of that is, like, what's the consequence of that? Well, now you have people who are like adults who probably, like, they have money and they're doing okay, but they're really not. Like, they're only doing okay because they were a part of that time. I think if the same brain was born in this environment, they just wouldn't last. You know what I mean? They just wouldn't last. And it's like a super important thing to point out. I think another important thing I guess I just have to grapple with is, like, I really love time and, like, having, like, a historical, like, length of accomplishment or things like that. I mean, even with where I'm working, I retrospectively kind of wish I just started working since I was 18, so I would get to say, like, yeah, I've been working here for 5 years, you know, and have that, like, super long, like, work at the same company for, like, 60 years or some, like, crazy, you know, accomplishment like that. Like, that's really what I want. Does that make sense? And so that's truly what I want. That's truly what I'm interested in. And I just don't know. But, you know, in retrospect, it's kind of like you have to just take what you're given, I guess. But that is the truth. I mean, I would be so successful right now if I had been working since I was 18. But on the other hand, I'm not really sure that I was ready for that. Does that make any sense? Like, I don't think I was ready to work when I was 18. I was, like, really a mess. It kind of took me a long time just to get to where I'm at now. And where I'm at now is, like, I'm okay. But I don't know that back then, like, I may not have even been able to hold down the job. But that's not necessarily the case, because at the same time, the job could have given me structure to kind of get me through that. But I have such an obsession with, like, doing things for, like, a long time and just having, like, that long, simple life like the golden age people had. But I feel like, you know, in this day and age, it's kind of, like, different. It's pretty different. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't know. It's pretty different because everybody's jumping around and the world is so jump aroundy, and it's part of the reason why I'm kind of, like, upset, and it's kind of traumatic for me to work through life, because I just do want repetition. I want the same. I want the number to be higher. You know, I want the same time at the same company, but I have a feeling that isn't really my destiny. You know, my destiny is probably going to be interacting with a little bit more of a chaotic energy, but maybe bringing order to it, you know, because that's kind of where we're headed now as a society. You know, the introduction of a lot of technology, and I just realized I completely forgot to start my workout. So that's going to be very off for the day. What's the other thing I forgot to do? I forgot to take my AirPods out. So I just they're in, but they're in for no reason. But yeah, so my walk workout will be a little off for today by 10 minutes, but whatever. It's still doing that thing where every time I start activity, it wants me to pick the amount of yards I'm doing in the pool, which is not very great. It's only when I press the button, when I actually press the app, it seems to be fine. So it's just I don't know, kind of in a very annoying situation, isn't it? So yeah. Let's think what else. But yeah, I have a feeling that's kind of what my life was meant to be, and that, hopefully I've always materially had enough, and I have a feeling that won't change. So I don't know, I'm still pretty concerned about the whole homeless thing, but it's at the same time I don't know why, because I've never really been in a spot in life where I've been in dire straits, and so it's safe to assume that fortune would kind of maintain, because it's been very consistent, and I've known people who have burned through more money or whatever. It's just weird. So I don't know that I have a rich fortune, but I definitely have always had enough. And I mean, that's really all you can ask for, right? I don't know. What more could you really ask for? Well, some people would say that, and then, that's why in the past you were able to, work for it. Now you can't really work for it anymore. You're not really rewarded for being a worker the same way that you once were. It's always the pinky finger on these gloves, man. These pinky fingers, they just get swallowed up, They just get swallowed up. It's actually crazy. I remember, I guess is this really going to be my third winter? Well, my first winter, I don't think I was walking. Yeah, that's why I'm misremembering. It's going to be my second winter, walking outside at work, because I didn't start walking at work until spring. I used to just sit during my breaks, because very nervous, first time having a job, didn't really want to do anything too crazy, but I learned yeah, you're allowed to leave the premises if you want, or things like that. So that's why we do what we do now, So it is what it is. So yep. I just think that to get back to what I was saying, I think I kind of have to transmute those two energies between order and chaos. It's a bit paradoxical, but I think it's supposed to show something. I don't know. I think it could be to re-engineer the chaotic age, because it's the truth is, I think chaos is here to stay now, but there has to be some kind of a way to implement order into that equation. Because you can't have the way things are now is not, it can't persist. It's not working. There's a lot of very dangerous things happening, especially when it comes to people's developmental years. When people are mentally developing, like I said, we're really going to see pretty severe negative results of that in the next 10 years. And it's just not, it's not a good situation at all. And so, yeah, that's just that, At the end of the day, that's just all there is to it. There's not too much else to say. But it's a shame. I mean, it's going to make sense because I know I'm going to live through bad economic times at some point, and I really ought to just get used to it. I mean, I sort of already am the way I'm living. It's just this year wasn't really like that. But if you take out a lot of my like computer tech purchases, I probably live more like a monk than basically anyone. So I just want to like tighten it up a little bit further because I haven't been living like a monk in terms of spending, again, especially the tech spending. So that is like a difference. That's like an obvious, like, a monk would not spend on tech the way I do. But yeah, it's I'm trying to reel that in because I was for a number of years very monk-like, right? Like it's very, for a number of years I was kind of on that path, and I don't know what happened. I mean, I just got too lonely, I guess. I think I was like too I just wanted to talk to people. I obviously love language, communication, and talking, and I guess I never really thought to record like this because I probably could have even back then, you know, but I really just wanted attention. That's really like a main thing. I mean, even now, although I guess that is kind of starting to change because I don't really know that I think, like, that doesn't really cross my mind very often. Is now that I'm saying that, I'm like reconciling with what I wanted before, like when I was a teenager, and actually up until very recently. But I don't really know. I think the older I got, kind of like the less attention I really wanted or needed. I mean, I want like deep attention, you know, to have like a real solid conversation with somebody, but not really in I don't know that I ever wanted superficial attention, but I just think when I was younger and I was first dealing with a lot of these deep thoughts and deep comprehensions of things, it's like it kind of hits you in the face, you know. It really hits you in the face, and you just I just wanted to talk to people. I'm just wired in that way. Like, that's probably the biggest joy for me is, you know, texting or calling people. So, but it's just that, like, people are not where I'm at. You know, I think I want to be an extrovert, and I think I would be an extrovert. But, because anybody I know who's an extrovert, I mean, I envy them, but it's probably not really envy because it's not an like, I feel like envy is like you're jealous and you want to be the person. Like, I don't want to be the person. I just would like their extrovertedness. But there's nuance to that too, because I don't think the problem is that I'm like, I think I would be extroverted. It's just that I know that the topics that I come up with are not going to land. That's the problem. The things I would say, people just wouldn't understand, or they wouldn't agree with because they don't understand, even if it's correct information. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, I don't know. I think that's a good way to sum it up. Like, I'm anxious because the way I think is so, it's just built for like a future society where everything's tracked and everything's very like accountable and like serious and stuff. And the way things are now, it's like the total opposite. You get rewarded for blurting stuff out, being silly, being funny. Like, we're still kind of in that kind of stage of things, and it's not like good for me, you know. Or like, I said even when it comes to... So that's really the issue, I think. It's like, if I was extroverted, people just would have no idea what I'm talking about and would just, like, look at me funny. And it just wouldn't really, like, get anywhere. Or they might just, like, nod their heads or say yeah or try to say something, but it's just, it would be impossible for me to steer the conversation in the direction that I would want it to go. But then again, I mean, most people who are extroverts don't really steer because they don't have to, because they're just talking and acting in a way that's going to automatically assimilate. So I guess what I'm saying is, you know, it would be different if a lot of people, these were the thoughts they had in their head, these were the conversations they had, and then I just also talked like this. Then it would just be fine. Everything would make sense and everything would just be okay, you know? But instead, it's like just completely different. It's not like that. And so that's where I think most of my shyness even comes from. I don't think it's like a genuine, like, I'm shy. It's because I know how people are, and there's something deeply sick, I think, about just a natural human flesh. It's I would equate it to a sickness. It's lack of memory. It's lack of being able to remember enjoyment. It's ability to easily be immature, to be sensitive to the wrong things, to be ignorant. And the ignorance is not causes evil, it causes injustice, you know, and there's a lot of things that are extremely unsettling about the human condition. There's a lot of things that are just really extremely unsettling about that human condition. So that's what I think the problem is, and that's where my shyness emerges. It's from that type of energy. You know, it's honestly crazy if you think about it, but you know, maybe I think about it too much, but I can't help it. Just like other people can't help whatever state they're in, and even my own ignorance to things, I also can't help, because I still forget stuff, and I'm sure I've still forgotten things. And yeah, it's all a mess, isn't it? I don't know. That's why I don't even like my own faults in that way. It's not like I'm just talking down to other people. It's just the way the existence is. But anyways, it's been schla. Now it's time to buy schla. So, see ya schla.